Let's talk about it. 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 On the Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So, Vera, I can't hear you.
Oh my goodness. Now can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
And
Yes.
now I did. Well, I say what I say every week, so I am sure they read my lips and understood what I was saying. But anyway, I am so excited to have you here today. And I'm going to start by sharing who Nancy Lee Bentley is. She is a visionary, holistic nourishment expert, speaker, author, and mentor. For over 5 colorful decades, she has dedicated her career to inspiring conscious women leaders, the sisters and the brothers who get it, to overcome disconnect, eat, feel, and be healthier, reconnect with themselves and each other, and remember who they truly are. She is a grandmother of the organic movement and founder of the Food Circle. Nancy has done just about everything possible with food. She has created organic products and restaurants fed people at Woodstock, organized the Organic Trade Association and the first National Food Day, as well as served ancient aliens, created wheat free recipes for share, and baked Prince's purple flowered birthday cake. As a veteran pioneer championing healthy food and sustainable communities, Nancy has been devoted to connecting the dots, moving us from a me to we mindset, building the soil to spirit bridge to personal and planetary transformation. Thank you so much for being here. As I read your story in the book, I was like, oh my God, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. And so I'm going to give you the floor and let you share with our audience what has brought you to your passion and your purpose and what has made you who you are. Nancy Lee Bentley.
Oh, wow, Vera, this has been an interesting time. I've really been looking forward to being sharing with you on your show. Of course, we never know how things are going to happen. And so, as it turns out, it's like, oh, would you like to jump in? Here with me today. So we created a website, we created a banner, we got the word out in a couple of hours. Well, this is all pretty typical of me with the flexibility. It's a good thing I have done just about as you say, just about everything imaginable with food. And I started very early. Like I started cooking at a very early age, at 5 years old, in making mud pies in the sandbox. But of course, as I say, I really didn't realize at that point that 50 years later, I'd be stuck in the proverbial mud, both professionally and personally. But of course, life is a hero's journey, right? Anyway, but more about that, but it's been a very colorful ride. And since I started cooking and cooking, my mom goes, "Oh, will you be okay? I have to go run in town for a minute, Okay. Oh, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, I'll be okay." And I'm making mud pies in the sandbox. And I jump. I see, oh, wow, it had rained and there was this like creamy, chocolatey mud in the driveway outside the sandbox. I'm like, oh, wow, that would be good. It was like chocolate cream cheese, right? It was like that thick and everything. So I jump out of the sandbox, typical of out of the box. And I get some of this mud and I make this most delicious chocolatey, creamy mud pies, right? And so I was so inspired. I'm like, oh, wow, I could make something real for mom when she by the time she comes back, right? So I go in, then I'm like 5 years old, right? I go into the kitchen, I get the refrigerator door open, and I take all the stuff I can reach on the door hand on the on the door. There's like maraschino cherries, ketchup, and chocolate syrup, and I managed to get them out, and then I opened the big bread drawer. Right, we living on a farm in upstate New York. We raised everything practically from from scratch. I mean, I was really blessed. And so I managed to get this big bread drawer. You have to understand, on the farm, grandma makes bread for the family with a, like there's a 25-pound bag of flour in that big drawer. So I get that open and I'm like, right, making, oh, that was a real interesting concoction. So anyway, my mother comes over, she goes, "Oh, you want to cook? Okay, well." So then from there on, it was like I got the Betty Crocker baking set, the fake oven, and I was off. And every day after school, I'm like, "Mom, what can I make?" And I'm like helping the ladies at the church supper to cook. And I mean, I'm doing everything I can, testing recipes, learning to cook by scratch. We had a lot of good food on our farm, so I'm grateful about that. And then I actually was I did my first food demonstration at the Big Six 4-H picnic, and then I got a job at my neighbor up the street was editor of the food editor of the Post Standard newspaper in Syracuse, New York, where I grew up in the Finger Lakes, and she got me into a job as a student apprentice to the director of the food demonstration kitchen at the New York State Fair, which was held in the center part of New York State. So I got some exciting adventures. I helped the home economists and Eddie Doucette, the IGA chef, to do their food demonstrations. And so I learned about food and professionals in the in the food industry, not like just teachers and scientists and nutrition, that kind. So I was like, oh, wow, there's something more interesting here. I did realize, oh, wow, there's an exciting, there's things that can be done. So I ended up I'll just tell you, I'm assisting the IGA chef, and he's giving me a casserole to put in the oven and on stage, right? So then he's talking and everything, and I'm like, what, 14, 15, I don't know, whatever. I open up the oven door, and there's not enough room for this casserole to go in the oven. Oh my God, there's a lid on it, and there's not enough room to go in. There's not enough room in the shelves, right? And so I like, oh my God, I'm on stage. What am I supposed to do, right? So I flip the lid over. I flip the lid upside down, and I said, and the IGA chef, he goes, "Oh, wait a minute, just a minute, young lady."
On stage?
He's like drawing attention to the fact that I was doing this and I'm like, oh my God. And, internally I'm like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Right. So he's like showing me, he goes, bring that out here, young lady. And I'm like, oh, geez. So what he did was he's trying to show them what a brilliant move this was at the last minute, because what else am I going to do? I was like quick thinking, right? But I mean, oh my God. So on stage, we've had our other chances. Yeah, that was just one of the first adventures of like, oh, I better think quick here, right? Just like, so from then on, I knew what I wanted to do, and I studied food and nutrition and communications at Cornell University.
Yes, I saw that.
Right. So then I went to New York after I was graduating from Cornell. I went to New York. I started working in advertising and public relations agencies, where they do the food photography and write the stories and do all this fancy stuff with food. Well, food photography, food cannot be usually eaten because you're doing stuff like putting glycerin on there, or, as I said, I adjusted grains of salt on popcorn for a living because it's that level of specificity. Each
like
grain,
this.
each
Yes,
grain of rice
just like this.
placed on the plate, precisely, whatever. But you can't eat that, right? I didn't do that, but that's the point. The way that food is, we eat with our eyes and our smells and our our aromas. And so but that food photography business is a whole other thing. So I had my experience there of filming ice cream under the lights of the heavy duty lights. That's not easy, right? And one time I was looking for props, because you use different expensive props and everything. And I had mushroom recipes. So I found a shop window where they had a big mushroom, a toadstool, right? Like it was about 3 feet or so, whatever. And I said, oh, could I, borrow that, or could I, rent it or whatever to take pictures of mushroom stuff. So I'm walking down the street with this mushroom on my shoulder in New York City. It's like, there's been a lot of very interesting experiences. Anyway, but at the same time, that was a time when Rachel Carson and the cans of frogs and spinach and things like that, the consumer era, and people started to become more aware about food. And Rachel Carson saying, what about the Silent Spring? What about the chemicals and everything in the food? And so I started, I worked for the Sugar Association. I worked for Accent. You know what that is, right?
Yes.
Okay, you're old enough, but Accent, the flavor enhancer,
Yes,
is pure MSG that we used to buy and put on food. Now they just put the food in there, put it in the food. They don't tell you. No, I mean, but
and can you talk about that MSG?
Well, MSG, yeah, it's one of those. It's been called an excitotoxin because literally it's a flavor enhancer because it vibrates the molecules in your tongue in the food, to make it seem like it's, but it's not a friendly, not a healthy thing. And it has been shown, in fact, when I was working for Accent, another example of perfect type of timing was when the first reports came out about how MSG makes holes in baby mice's brains. That was the first research report. Wow, you should have seen those account executives. OMG, they were freaking out. Yeah,
wow.
right. Yeah. And so I started, that timing of my coming through was like, I've seen it all, and how the convenience food, developed, and how the chemicalization, the synthesization of our food. We used to grow it all we grew all the food that we ate on our farm. Well, now it's like they're making it in factories and making it as cheap as I say, they're making it as cheap as possible. The problem is MSG, like some other chemicals that like, for example, glyphosate, which is the Roundup Ready herbicide that now has let's see, Monsanto or Bayer Corporation owns Monsanto, now has over 167,000 lawsuits in line for them to deal with because of the toxicity and the cancer and other chronic disease producing indicators that they've been able to prove. Part of the problem is it's very challenging because they don't keep records of those kinds of things. We have a food system that is run by corporations, and corporations are bottom line, okay, whether it's tires or food. The whole principle of the corporate food thing is buy low and sell high. It's a profit thing for the shareholders and all that. Yes, the food companies are starting and have been starting to create healthier food. But why? Because the market is there. We, as people who were waking up, including at Woodstock, when, yes, that was another very interesting adventure where, here I am feeding people at Woodstock, and my mother, out of my mother's, that was a whole adventure in in itself, which you got a little glimpse of. But the thing is, we were the beans and grains hippies, right? That started to look at how we're eating. I've studied all kinds of dietary philosophies along with their religious and spiritual things. So I've been doing this sort of two tracks about food and nourishment, or food and spiritual, the correlations, the connections, which is what I call that soil to spirit bridge. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, but it's been a process, and now we have now people are so convenience oriented. We've been programmed and bought into it. We don't want to have to do anything. People don't know how to cook anymore.
Instant, right? They want instant.
Want everything instant, right? Well, there's some stories about that in the Bible, I think, but I'm not. I would say I'm spiritually oriented, okay? But I do know I've looked for the messages, the themes, and the metaphors and so forth that teach us about food and nutrition and nourishment. And hey, there are a lot of them in the Bible, right? Like, yes. The Sermon on the Mount, for example. By the way, I studied all the different religions. I am an ordained minister as well, and I did more recently here. I did a lecture, a sermon in church. And the title of that was, is the bread of life gluten-free? Because now, and this was a picture, this was taken from a cartoon of Jesus and the Sermon on the Mount. My favorite story in the Bible, how he took a small amount of bread and, well, I think it was figs, not fishes, but anyway, a small amount of food, and he multiplied it to feed thousands of people. How did he do that? That was like, how did he do that? Right. So that's been an inspiration because, right. But in this cartoon, it's so funny. I'm like, here he is. He's holding up the bread and blessing and everything. And then out of the crowd, the little bubbles are there like, has that fish been tested for mercury? And then is that bread gluten-free? So
Wow.
So the point being, if if it were happening today, people be asking these minutia questions. It's like focusing on such tiny, tiny stuff and ignoring or not really being aware about the whole, that we're connected. Everything is connected. Well, anyway, so I mean, I have just I've done so many things with food, and in that process, I have authored books and studied both the physical, lots of the diets, as well as the physical, as well as the other levels of our existence. And so, this book, yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about your books.
Okay, well, this book, you brought this one up first. This was the zinger, right? Where this is Truly Cultured, is an opus, really a classic evergreen book about rejuvenating taste, health, and community with naturally fermented foods, meaning like sauerkraut and kombucha and all those things, right? But guess what? This was the original food processing technique. This is how people, before refrigeration, how they got their food so that it would be stable, but they were making sauerkraut in a crock in the summer, in the cellar, right? It wasn't pasteurized, it wasn't, right? And so the reason, part of it is processing, but also it produced good microbacteria, good gut bacteria that enhanced digestion. So, for example, those condiments, most of those condiments, pickles and things like that, they were designed and helped to enhance your digestion. Like, think about it. Every kind of protein usually has a traditional condiment that it's served with, right? Anyway, this is like a just small amount that would enhance your digestion. But so then, of course, we didn't know about the quote microbiome. And this book, which I wrote after I wrote the book with Dr. Mercola about total health, this book, the Mercola book came first. This was geared around metabolic typing, and that everybody has their own unique engine, as I call it, or their own, everybody is their own unique metabolic and their own person and everything. Everybody's unique, and everybody's the expert when it comes to their own way of eating.
But let me ask you.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, why is it that people are not, they're not cognizant of this? They don't seem to be aware.
Right. There's a lot of factors there, Vera, but one of them is they're not connected to their gut. Their gut or their gastrointestinal tract is out of whack. We call it in dysbiosis. This is the foundation of all chronic disease. In fact, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, all disease begins in the gut. Now, what's the gut? The gastrointestinal tract, GIT, which is basically the opening. It's this tube from the opening here all the way down through to the opening on the other end, right? The original YouTube, basically.
The original YouTube.
That is your food factory.
I love it.
That's your food factory. Okay. And so literally what I learned in this process was, if there is a ringmaster, if there's one thing about the human body, it's this: the human body has a ringmaster. That ringmaster is controlling your digestion, your immunity, your brain, your weight, your health, even your mood and your happiness. And what is that? That ringmaster is the gut, gastrointestinal tract. It's your food factory, but it's also your ecology, your inner ecology. We're worried about the outer ecology. Well, the inner ecology of us, what's going on inside of us, we are a community, is mirroring what's going on in the outer community and the outer ecology. And when they started to, instead of put fermentation products like compost, and that stuff is what they used to put on the soil to grow crops. And then when they stopped doing that, they started taking chemicals from left over from World War II and concentrating the chemicals, the minerals into the food system, like potassium and NP and K, potassium, sodium, all that. Anyway, but when they started doing that in the 40s, the late 40s, after the World War II, then it started to imbalance the ecology of the soil. It imbalanced the micro minerals. So you've got macro, large minerals that they were putting on to grow and get things to grow faster and produce more.
And bigger.
Yeah. But then what happened is it messed up the balance of the mini, like cobalt and these minerals, micro minerals that you need maybe one molecule of, but you better have it in there. Okay. So, so that's all, that ecology thing has been going on for 50, no more than that. I'm all it's been going on for 75 years. And I refuse to act my age. I'm sorry. It's like, but the thing is, the point being, it messed up the microorganisms then, because now we have soil. What about the Dust Bowl day as well? I mean, that was one example, but now we're mining the soil. We're like, it's like using, it's like we're extracting things out of the soil. That's what, what the corporate model is, and so instead of the circle, that whole web of life, this food circle, what I call the food circle, we've disrupted things, and then we get unintended consequences. I mean,
well, let me ask you, what can be done about this?
Well, guess what? Everybody is responsible for their own health, and we all create our own reality, including our health, based on how we think, choices that we make. And the point that, the key point about the ringmaster, the gut, is that it is connected into your mental, literally neurologically, the messages from your brain to your gut, your immunity, your emotions, your endocrine system, your immunity, all of that. It's all connected through this,
your gut.
Through your gut. Okay. So here's the thing. Oh, sugar's a problem, right? Okay. So what happens?
And it's poison. About
that we could talk. I mean, there's a whole, that could be a whole podcast in itself, right? But the thing is that, when it's refined, the fiber is taken out of it. Fiber is what the microorganisms, the microbiome need. That they are the ones that are determining your health. We depend upon them much more than other animals and other beings. We depend upon those microorganisms. That's why when it gets messed up, but they need plants, they need fiber. And when we take the fiber out of the sugar, fiber out of the flour and stuff like that, we're messing around, right? It's like, so the thing is, here's the thing. People say, I want something sweet, and I'm like, so you think you want something sweet? Well, guess what? I hate to tell you, you've trained your microorganisms to want something sweet. That's really the reality. We create our own reality by our repeated choices and our repeated focus. So you are what you eat, but you also maybe you eat what you are too, maybe, right? Because, well, I mean, like, again, it's so complicated. It's so interacted. But the point that I was trying to make there is that whatever you focus on more, you get more of. Whatever you focus on, and that includes where you think, but it also includes what you eat. So, for example, the more sugar you eat, what? The more sugar you want. The more salt you eat, the more salt you want. Well, it is part of that addictive technology that is going on in addition to the natural, the form of foods that we have now, but also, there's a lot of chemicals, and there's over 88,000 chemicals used in the food system.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why we have all these diseases.
Oh
We
yeah,
wonder
because
why there's
yeah,
such obesity,
yeah, that's part of it. It's like the gut is off balance, and we're not connected to our gut. Did you ever have a gut feeling? Do you think that's an accident? Okay, no, because words have more than one meaning, and gut literally is, I had a gut feeling. Well, do you think that's an accident? Usually, that is what happens. You get a feeling. Oh, okay. You get a message. Oh, take your raincoat or take your umbrella, and you go,
and you don't.
It's sunny out. What do I need that for? That's crazy. So you just ignore that. Your mind overrides that. And then later in the day, it rains. And you go, oh, yeah, I got that message. But it didn't come through your brain. It came through your gut. It came that instinct. And that, gut instinct is straight from your source. But also when a fire destroys a house, it guts the house, right? I mean, there's a lot of double meanings here. And so it isn't just about the physical, but also, I don't want to omit the point being that the more that you eat of anything, so-called bad, because we don't call foods bad, but
right,
or good, but the more you eat of anything, so the more sugar you eat, the more you want, but the more vegetables and healthy, fresh, whole foods that have everything they need, balance and everything, the more of that you're going to want. That's how you can change your eating habit. Just the thing is, it's not instant. And I'm sorry to tell you, the messages are wrong. You will not have it your own way. I'm sorry.
Well, listen, right now I need to go to a commercial, so we'll be right back. Okay, we'll be right back.
Hallelujah.
Hey there, Jason McNamara here, and I'm about to drop something truly game-changing your way. Are you tired of the same old 9-to-5 grind? Feeling stuck in obtaining the life you deserve and craving something more? Well, listen up, because I've got something you will not want to miss. Introducing the No More 9-to-5 Club Professional Membership, your ticket to freedom and success in the entrepreneurial world. With our professional membership, you'll get access to weekly coaching sessions, pre-recorded trainings, and a vibrant community of fellow game changers. You get access to technology that will allow you to automate passive income streams, as well as unlock all of our expert-led trainings in the back office so you know where to go for good advice when you need it. You will also use the club to build up a residual income stream with a 2-tier 33% affiliate commission unlocked at this level, allowing you to help people help themselves while generating a residual passive income stream for yourself. And here's the kicker. For a limited time, you can unlock all of this just for a $1.11 donation to our club foundation.
I like this one.
Your first month is on us. So what's holding you back? Click the link below, make your donation, and let's start building the life and business of your dreams together. Here at the No More 9-to-5 Club, we're all about turning dreams into reality and smashing through those glass ceilings.
That's what I'm talking about, Jake.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just starting out, we've got the tools and support you need to thrive and evolve. And don't forget to sign up for our bootcamp training. It's the perfect way to kickstart your journey and unlock even more perks. So what are you waiting for? Join the No More 9-to-5 Club today, and let's make those dreams a reality. I can't wait to see you on the inside. You only get one now. Invest it in your better future. Let's make magic happen together.
No more 9 to 5. Let me tell you, this is an organization where there's a lot of networking. There's an opportunity to learn because there's masterminds and trainings. Nancy and I are both a part of this organization. And it also is a way for you to look at residual income, even through some of the things that you may be doing yourself to get plugged in to no more 9 to 5. And you can join right now for $1.11, and that money goes to veterans. So please check out No More 9 to 5. I've put the link in the comments, so click on it and join us, and you will not regret it. You will not regret. And
No,
Let me introduce you to ChatBridge. It's a revolutionary new solution for getting great results from your online networking. Today, online networking has become the standard for millions of professionals. However, getting results from your meetings can be a daunting task. But now that challenge has been solved. Everyone knows how hard virtual meeting follow-up is. You go to an online meeting where at the end, people say save the chat to follow up. And now you have a nearly unusable and ugly chat text file to work with. You can now say goodbye to the hassles of downloaded Zoom-type chat records. For the first time, with the introduction of this new ChatBridge tool, you have a simple system to easily import, search, review, follow up, and find opportunities with the people you meet in all of your virtual networking meetings. And we also made it easy to archive all of your chat files and information on the people you met networking for future use. And it doesn't stop there. With ChatBridge, when you select people to follow up with, you can view their exact posts and even click into their website, LinkedIn profile, or Facebook page if they shared it. Then you can import your selected contacts into the powerful EngagePro system or export your contacts to your CRM, email tool, or autoresponder. Following up and getting great results from online networking is now easy and just a click away. Experience the power of the new ChatBridge, and you'll quickly see how to find new clients, get more referrals, speaking opportunities, and JV partners. There's nothing like it. Find out now how economical and easy it is to get the results you want from online networking at chatbridgeconnect.com.
ChatBridge. If you go to a lot of networking meetings and you save your chat from Zoom, you want to check out ChatBridge because it organizes your chats by alphabetical order of the names, phone numbers, and social media connections, and all of the chat conversations that went on during that meeting. You want to check out ChatBridge. I have put in the comments a link for you to get a free test run. Check out. One click and your chat is organized. And Nancy, I didn't mean to cut you off when I was talking about no more 9 to 5. Forgive me. What was it that you were about to say?
No, I was going to say you've got some good sponsors. I will personally verify for the character authenticity and the intent of the people in the 9 to 5, No More 9 to 5 Club. Great people. We've been through it too, haven't we, Vera?
Yes, we have. Yes,
that's why we talk about being gutsy.
yes, that gutsy lady. Yes. Well, listen, I want to talk about this synchronicity that you talk about in your new book that's coming up. And let me pull it up right quick. And this book, tell us about this book and what's going on with Beyond Coincidence.
Well, this is an interesting evolution. I've written, as you can tell, I've written contribute to or written quite a few books with different aspects. You know, the Truly Cultured was a book about the whole fermented food and the gut and everything. And that was an opportunity to test and to show my own connectivity and my own, as my grandparents would say, intestinal fortitude.
This one, wait, which one was that?
Yeah, the truly cultured there. Okay.
Oh, okay. All
Because
right.
that,
Awesome.
because Vera, that book, after I wrote that book, after I wrote the book with Dr. Mercola, the
Yes.
total health metabolic typing book.
Yes.
And well, I didn't realize after I'd written it and researched and everything, like, oh, everything is connected here. Oh my gosh, what did I do? And I realized I got myself down the rabbit hole, so to speak, because this is the middle of all of the key things that are going on in our culture. And anyway, so had my own challenges with that, because that book, the Truly Cultured book, I self-published it, and it was misbound at the printer.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, what's that about? Well, anyway, Neverland. That was one of those dark moments, right? And so I've been through it. I've been, up and down, all around, and in and out. And I've done, like I said, I'm not kidding, done just about everything you can do with food, including, well, as I said, been called corny, nutty, fruity, and flaky, but it's all been about food and mostly out of the box, as I say.
Yes,
right?
that's
But
amazing.
the point being that this has not been what, as I say in my chapter of Beyond Coincidence, it's been a very interesting, colorful career that has not exactly been what you or I would probably call the joy of cooking, which was the old classic cookbook. That the joy of cooking was like the classic cookbook, along with
Yes.
the Crocker cookbook that people used, in making recipes. Now we have, so much. But anyway, but the point being, we've had to go through it. And I've had to, as I've written in one of the books about the recipe for succeeding inside out, because when stuff happens to you, it's like, oh, great. What can I do now? You
Is
can't
this that book?
No, that book is not even up here. That one, that was another chapter in another book, but with David Ricklin about, that one is 101 great ways to compete in today's job market. But the point being, whatever you do, you are going to manifest in your life. The old alchemists prior to the chemists, the forerunners, they said, as above, so below, as inside, so outside. We are frequency. We're multiple levels. We are body, mind, heart, and soul. We are not just one level. You're not just that body, right?
Right.
But we don't always know a lot about what's going on in the other realms. In fact, our families internal families are often arguing. The mind wants to be running in charge, and the emotional sister is like, you never listen to me.
And the body is saying, I'm tired. My body is aching.
The body's saying, I don't want to do that. And then anyway, but we are here. We are spiritual beings and having a human experience here. Okay.
I love it.
Well, everybody, is starting to realize that how you eat is important. Of course, I'll ask, is what you're eating more of a problem, or is what's eating you more of a problem? Play on words. Yeah, right. Because it's all connected, and we are a family within ourselves, but we're arguing a lot. The different parts of us want to be in charge. It's like, right. The mind wants to be in charge. The higher aspect, though, is going, excuse me, folks, we're going this way. I hate to tell you, but we're not always tuned into that, because we're so obsessed with our sympathetic driven culture. We've got to get things done. We've got to achieve. We've got to succeed. We've got to da. We don't give ourselves the time. You don't even digest food unless you are in what's called rest and digest. Your
I
nervous
saw
system,
that in the book. I saw that.
you
I
have
want
to
you to
be
repeat that. Repeat what you
okay.
just said.
You do not digest your food unless you are in what's called rest and digest mode, meaning you've got two parts of your nervous system, your autonomic nervous system. You have a sympathetic driving to-do list, mental driving part of you, and then you have the other part, which is the rest and digest parasympathetic part. You have to have a balance of both, and we are in this culture we're in a driving mode, and we are not necessarily doing very well with that because we can't see. The mind is a great taskmaster, but not a great leader. And so we've messed up because we're not connected to nature. We're not connected to ourselves through our gut. And so the book that we're doing now, that we are coming to launch in May 30th, as a matter of fact, Beyond Coincidence. This is taking the whole topic of food and nourishment to the next level, because you are a body, mind, heart, and soul. And yeah, woo woo, because guess what? It's all connected. Okay. So your higher aspect is having more of an influence on you than you think. And you have more resources than you even imagine. I mean, we try to have different religions, and we try to access that information in different ways and guidance and so forth. And there's different religions and spiritual philosophies and so forth. Okay. But the reality is it's all an individual thing. And we have to learn, as I say, there is no one recipe or formula for life, even though, right? But how do you know? We get a lot of help. There's lots of information and guidance and support that is coming to us if we can just hear and listen. And that is why this book is so groundbreaking, because we're talking about, everybody goes, oh, that's just a coincidence, whatever. It's like, it happens to people all the time and they don't even believe it. It's like, oh, blow it off. Oh, that's just a coincidence. Well, guess what? There are no coincidences, really. It's not happenstance. It's not accidents. There are no accidents. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, this means we have to be responsible for what goes on. People don't want that. But however, the opportunity is there to learn and to get help and guidance from the universe, from the higher realms of wisdom that our little pea brain cannot, just does not have right? So this is what this book is about. It's about Beyond Coincidence is about synchronicity and success. It is those magical things that happen that you cannot explain. They come out of nowhere. It's like, you can make that stuff up, right?
And
It's
I
like,
know you've had a lot of those instances. I know
yes,
you
I
have.
have had so many instances of synchronicity or things happening perfectly. It could be a phone call where I'm calling somebody, they're calling me. We're tuned into each other. We're all connected, but we don't recognize that. We want to argue with each other. I'm right. No, you're wrong. Right? But the point being, if we can relax, if we can allow our balance of our nervous system, of our whole being, not just in a physical, achiever or whatever, if we can allow that, we can tune in and notice those special gifts that are constantly coming to us. I mean, it could be you're driving a car and there's so many cars around, there's no parking spots or whatever. And then all of a sudden, right when you need it, there's a parking space that opens right in front of you. And you're like, oh, thank you. But we take that stuff for granted.
One of the things
what?
One of the things, like with me, that coincidence, I call on the Holy Spirit. Find
Of
me a parking
course.
space.
Of
Help
course.
me find my glasses. And
Yes,
I
of
mean, and those
course.
things happen. They happen. And
Yes.
listen, I have another commercial I need to go to. So let me play that right
Well,
quick.
then we'll get back to the
And then
direct,
we'll get
right?
back to,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. Let me play this right quick.
Let me introduce you to our amazing motivational speakers who will not just touch your heart but also leave you all with a different and more positive mindset. Introducing Nancy, Das, Susie, LaDonna, Vera, Tyler, Marlena, Brittany, Mike, Tony, Dr. Rashay, Yannick, Ra. And let's not forget our amazing host, Lavari. Click the link now to register and be part of this amazing event on June 13th in Times Square, New York City. Don't miss it. Register now.
Yes, you want to come to New York. Join me in New York on June 13th. It's a your trauma talk. Your trauma talk. All of the speakers that you see on the screen, they're sharing their traumas and how they overcame many things in their lives. And they share their stories to help encourage, uplift, inspire, motivate other people to recognize that you're not alone. We all go through stuff, but understanding that this too shall pass. So join me in New York on June 13th. The event is from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and it's on Broadway. And there's a whole lot of other things that's in store for those in attendance as well as for the speakers. So join me. You can click the QR code right now to register. Click the QR code right now to register. All right.
Cool. That's going to be wonderful.
Yes, I'm
Vera,
excited about it. I'm
the
excited
message,
about it.
the message is getting out, and that, that hero story that we talk about, this is what every major story is, has that storyline. No one gets away with having things, even people who are, who are rich, wealthy celebrities or whatever, they have their own challenges. Everybody,
Everybody.
we're here. If we have a human body, we have lessons that we're going to be learning. And so whatever you've got going on is going to print out for you like a present in the present for you.
Yes.
Right? If you can
Yes.
listen. So what
Yes.
I'm here with this, the chapter that I wrote in Beyond Coincidence, the book, right, that we're talking about now.
Yes.
Which is going to be launching May 30th between 2 and 6 p.m. That is a message about how we can be guided and we can have the benefit of tremendous wisdom. I mean, our body has wisdom, but we have a lot more access to if we can listen and pay attention and allow ourselves to experience these things and to learn from them and to be guided and to be helped through life, right? Okay. So, and of course, it has many colorful stories of both the wonderful, delicious, joyful, exuberant experiences that I've had, as well as some of those more sour, bitter, some of those experiences too, because it's all connected. It's all one.
It's
right?
all connected.
And if we can embrace the whole, we can embrace all of it, including that would be eating the whole piece of fruit.
Yes, that's in the book. Talk about it.
The fruit, the seeds, everything. We will get a balance of everything that we need to metabolize and to process that food. Okay. And we will not get cravings. This is something about that people don't realize, that you just want salt and sweet. Your body's going to be, your nervous system's like confused. And when they serve salted peanuts at a bar, or you have salted caramel candy, you're like, your system is like confused about what to do. And what happens? you get thirsty because your body knows it needs to detox and it needs water to detox, right? So what I'm saying is if you eat the whole diet, you eat the whole food, you eat a balance, and the dietitians used to say, "Oh, eat a balanced diet." What does that mean? The tray is level while your cafeteria tray is level, but no, that whole foods, natural foods, organic foods, local foods. These are the foods that God, that the Creator, that whatever you want to call, intended us to eat, and that is what we're designed to eat, including our microbiome and our microorganisms. They need that fiber too. So the point here is that there's a lot of connection between those events and so forth. They've happened to me in many different ways, especially around the food and a nourishment realm. As I say, seasoning my life. I say synchronicity has been the seasoning of my life, but love is the real nourishment.
Yes, and I
Really.
love that's what you said in your book. I was looking. There was a quote that I wanted to read from your book that I thought was just a beautiful thing. So let me go back to it and read it. You say synchronicity is the seasoning, but love is the real nourishment. I love that statement.
Yeah, we have to remember that, because it isn't just like I said, it's not just about what you're eating. It's not just about what you're eating. That certainly is a foundation of your health, but really it's about your attitude. It's about all of these things together. And but if you're eating real food, whole food, not chemicalized, not processed so much, then you're going to be able to be a lot healthier and improve both your food factory and your immunity and your length of life and your enjoyment. It's like, yeah, it's not a magic pill. It won't happen overnight. But the real thing is love is the connection. It is the nourishment. And that's why I'm
Yes, I
saying get
love
together.
it.
Let's get together around our food in the food circle. It's not rocket science, right? We are we are a community, and we need to wake up and reconnect. And food,
Absolutely.
it's a
And
logical thing, right?
yes, and I want to talk about. I showed a couple of your books, but I did not show them all. So, what is this Cinderella monologues? What
This
is
is
that about?
another story, Cinderella stories, right? Of ladies who are also going through their own experiences, you know, including some of course I always do things from the food perspective, and some of those challenges and some of the really exciting and synchronistic things that happen in the process of my growing up and learning.
Awesome. And what
And then,
about
of course,
this?
Woodstock Window is my coloring book about Woodstock and what happened during the experience of going to Woodstock like nothing else. And there wasn't much food there, but we were high, not just on, you know, whatever. We were high on love and community, with, as I say, with the capital U. And it was like we were nourished by something else. That's the point being there, right? But yet, hey, what's going on? The last 50 years has been a lot of changes. What's going on the next 50 is going to be really important. That's why I wrote.
Yes,
And then this is a asparagus to zucchini is a book about seasonal eating and all the different vegetables from A to Z that will be healthy and how you can make them. And so I have a chapter in this book as well. This was done in 1996. It's still being produced because guess what? It's truth. We need it. And you can find all of these books on my
and
website, the Nancy.
thank you, because I was about to say
Thank you.
that. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy Lee Bentley.com. And you can also get your free gift is Nancy Lee's Guts for Real Health. I love that. And formula for all socials and gifts is Linktree Nancy Lee Bentley. So listen, thank you so much for being here. You gave a wealth of information plus your sense of humor. And I just love you. And I just thank you so much for being here. So do you have a final word that you want to say? And then we're going to say to our audience, good night. And I'll see you on Thursday.
Well, I just, you know what? I still comes back to it's all connected. And we got to remember the secret ingredient. The secret ingredient is always love.
It's always love. Always love. Yeah. I love you all. God bless.
So much, Vera. It was like wonderful to finally be on your show.
Yes. Love you. Love you, Nancy. Okay. So you guys have a great remaining week, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.
The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. The Vera Thomas Show. Let's talk about it. Let's talk.